This nonfiction book is called An Apple a Day. It was written by Melvin Berger, who's done dozens and dozens of informational texts on science topics for young learners. This table of contents lets us know that we're going to learn about eating apples, apple history, the apple tree, the growing apple, picking apples, and apples we buy. This part of the page tells us that Melvin Berger was the author who wrote the text, but the book was edited by Lisa Traumbauer. It was designed by Janneke Hess, and the production manager was Karen Vigoriti. The book was published by Newbridge Educational Publishing in New York City. And this part of the page lists all of the photo credits. So the photographs in this book come from many different sources, different men and women who are photographers. And now the book begins. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. And an apple tastes good, too. Apples have been around a very long time. In the early days of America, Johnny Appleseed planted apple trees across the country. His real last name was Chapman, but you can look up Johnny Appleseed and find out stories about him that are very famous and entertaining. Apples grow on apple trees. Every spring, the apples start as sweet-smelling pink and white flowers. Each flower has several different parts: the stamen, the pistil, the petal, the sepal. For apples to grow, pollen must get from flowers on one tree to flowers on another tree. Bees usually do this job. The pollen sticks to their fuzzy little legs, and they carry it from one flower to the next flower. Then, inside the flower, a tiny apple starts to grow. In summer, the sun, rain, and air help the apples get bigger. Some apples turn red. Others turn yellow. Still others stay green. Most of the yellow ones you'll see would be a type of yellow delicious. Most of the green ones you'll see might be Granny Smith apples. And there are a lot of different kinds of apples that stay red. In fall, the apples are ripe. Workers pick them by hand, fill their bags, and empty them into large bins. Some families pick their own apples to carry home. Growers take their apples to cold storerooms. Here the apples are kept for up to a year. In winter, spring, and summer, you can buy fresh apples that were kept in cold storage. Growers sell about half their apples for eating. The rest are made into applesauce, or apple juice, or apple pie. Meanwhile, the apple tree waits. Soon, tiny flower buds will start to open again. And then the whole cycle repeats. On this page is an index. So if you want to go back and look where we learned about the stamen, that's on page 5. You could learn more about that. If you're interested in picking apples, you can learn about that on page 10 and on page 11. The end. If you are someone who loves apple cider, or really enjoys eating Paula Red apples, or Golden Delicious apples, or Macintosh apples, or Ida Red apples, or Granny Smith's, this was a good book for you. It's part of a set of books about plants. The other books are Growing Pumpkins, Seeds Get Around, The Vegetable Garden, Busy as a Bee, and this one, An Apple a Day. This book had a lot of people helping put it together, but the writer was Melvin Berger.